I wanna kiss you, but if I do, then I might miss you, babe. It's complicated and stupid. Got my ass squeezed by sexy Cupid. Guess he wants to play, wants to play. I love game, I love game. Hold me and love me. Just wanna touch you for a minute. Maybe 3 seconds is enough for my heart. Let's have some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much, just bust that kick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Me, amore, don't you know? My love, I want you so. Sugar, make my soul complete. That your taste so sweet. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go, don't go. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go, don't go. Let's play a love game, play a love game. Do you want love, or you want pain, or you win the game? On a love game. Streaming from the city, walked into the door. I turned around when I heard the sound of footsteps on the floor. Loud, just like addiction. Now I'm hooked on you. I need some time to get it right. Your love won't see me through. Hold me and love me. Just wanna touch you for a minute. Maybe 3 seconds is enough for my heart. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much, just bust that stick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Me, amore, don't you know? My love, I want you so. Sugar, you make my soul complete. Rapture taste so sweet. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go, don't go. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go, don't go. Let's play a love game, play a love game. Do you want love, or you want pain, or you win the game? On the love game. You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one. That's no good for me. You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one. That's no good for me. You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one. That's no good for me. You're no good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one. That's no good for me. That's no good for me. That's no good for me. Good for me. Good for me. For me. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go. Need no one. That's no good for me. Can't stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Let's play a love game, play a love game. Do you want love, or you want pain, or you win the game? Stop now, don't you know? I'm never gonna let you go. Don't go. Need no one. That's no good for me. Let's have some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Let's have some fun, this beat
Oh, hi.
How are you this morning?
I'm better than you are, Dan. You have been once again struck with technical difficulties.
Nothing's working today. None of my computers, nothing. The camera won't work. It's one of those days.
You've had to go to your 1960. How many laptops? This is an important question. How many laptops do you have? Like computers and laptops, how many do you have sitting around at home?
I've got my big computer, which I do everything on, and for some reason it won't turn on today. And then I've got my little laptop, which I use for traveling.
Okay, go. Because I have a similar big computer, which the only thing that I've used for the entire time is to just have in the background when I was doing a little lunch, because it does stuff all. Then I have this laptop, I have another laptop, I have one of those shitty white laptops, and then I told you the other week I got sucked in by some bitch to buy a new $3,000 laptop just in case those ones broke, because I was so obsessed with doing computers. And now I've got all these laptops everywhere. I'm like, none of them fucking work.
How many laptops have you got? 4?
I think I've got five laptops, but 2 of them don't work.
Okay.
I decided when I upgraded, I would have like a porn laptop, because I think that's what gets it, is when you go onto these crazy websites. No, when you go onto like, not for me, for like friends, when you go onto like porn sites, I think it like it does weird stuff. So I was like, just keep that as your porn laptop.
Well, that's sensible, because those websites are full of malware and spyware and wareware.
Well, what would we wearing when we were looking at them? But then someone tried to tell me the other day that you don't have to have virus protection on a Mac. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. It's I can't remember what the reason, but apparently Macs don't get viruses the same way that PCs do. Knock on wood. Well, it seems like my big fucking Mac has one right now. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm swearing.
Last Friday, we're allowed to swear. We're allowed to swear.
We've changed the rules.
On Friday we are. Normally we have a glass of wine, but you said that you're not in the right headspace to have a glass of wine today.
No, not in the right headspace. Probably because I was up quite late having a few wines with friends, and she's a bit dry today. A little bit too dry. She's on the waters.
Oh my God, speaking of dry, I just saw this ad on Chemist Warehouse. Well, I was watching the morning show. Not that I watch it often, but I had the morning show and they did one of the infomercials, and it was a Chemist Warehouse infomercial, and it was about dry mouth. And then the Chemist Warehouse lady's like, and today we're going to be talking about dry mouth. And then the interviewer goes, how can you tell you've got dry mouth? And she goes,
because your mouth's dry?
A dryness in the mouth is a good indicator. Waking up to that's true. Waking up to consume liquids. It's almost as dumb as like American. Have you seen when you've been in America, like the ads they have for medicines and stuff?
Yes, with the warnings at the end.
Yeah, and warning goes longer than the ad, and then generally, I think we might have talked about this before. But probably talked about everything. We've done this for 8 weeks now. It'll go, do not take Zimfolda if you're allergic to Zimfolda. Zimfolda may cause death. Still have it.
And they always have stock footage of families running around by lakes or in parks or just living their best life while the warnings just keep coming and coming.
Or slightly longer grass than it should be.
Always slightly longer grass.
So I'm trying to push my chair lock in. Yeah.
Oh. Speaking of America, I had to ask you something about Trump and his lies.
Just like, as someone that likes to tell a couple of fibs, and I find part of my stage show is what's true and what's not. His lying is amazing. And I'm loving now that he's lying. He'll just like he'll go, well, I did and you didn't see. Like, I know when you saw that controversy about him not wearing a mask when he was at the mask factory, despite it being the mask rule.
Yes.
And he did it again today. Do you know he has a presidential mask, a black one that has the presidential seal on the side?
Oh my God. I've never actually seen him in a mask. I've always just
It was
seen his
on
ugly
today.
mug.
But he says that he will not give the media. Well, he's such a fucking retard. He will not give the media the pleasure of seeing him in a mask, so he always takes it off. Hide that head.
The more it's covered up, the better.
You'd think that possibly the parties would be like, can we just get someone, like, just get a dirty wig like that, just like a used mop, basically, and just put a mask on someone and just superimpose what he, like, just voice what he has to say. And that new bitch he's got as his press secretary.
So I haven't seen her yet. How's she going?
I mean, to get that job, you just got to be a dick. Today, I like that the press now just don't give a flying fuck. So they just contradict everything he said. And he was saying that I think it was Michigan, were doing like a mail out vote-in. And he was saying, well, actually, I'm gonna say that that's not allowed. They're like, well, it's actually in their constitution. It is allowed. And then she's on there and she's just like, I mean, she's good. She's a good liar. And then the journalist is like, well, that's actually not true. And she's like, I never said that. And she's like, oh, you did just say that. She's like, no, I didn't. I didn't. That's my favorite, is when they say it and then just say, no, they totally didn't.
And that's what they're doing over there all the time.
It's gay. I like it when they do a contradiction, like a video of the contradictions.
Yeah, when they play them back to back.
He's a banana. Or, of course, him taking that new medication. I love Nancy Pelosi. And now he's so she said he's taking this, I think it's anti-malaria medication, which is the same one he told people to take before, and then they started drinking fish tank cleaner and people died. And now Nancy Pelosi has come out and said it's not appropriate for someone at his age. And also, oh my God, that's a great question, Brett. It's not appropriate for someone of his age and also someone morbidly obese. And now he's claiming that she's fat-shamed him.
Isn't it the best?
It's so
he's been calling women dogs and nasty and pigs.
Grabbing them by the pussy.
And as soon as she states a fact, all of a sudden she's fat shaming.
Well, apparently he has now come out and said, I'm 20 pounds under being morbidly obese. I'm like, although, Dan, I'm not. This is my big shirt. I can't fit my clothes.
My clothes are getting tighter and tighter as well.
I find, you know what it is? It's a terrible, like, you have that afternoon drink and then all of a sudden Uber Eats calls, then evening drink, and then Uber Eats calls again. So I'm deleting Uber Eats from my phone after today.
What else are you getting delivered apart from Uber Eats?
Oh, for the first time ever yesterday, I had Jimmy Brings delivered.
Why was it the first time?
Well, I think if you've got... Well, actually, that's a lie. I did have it delivered once before because I had a voucher, because I think they sponsored my show. I'm not 100% sure. But I ordered yesterday just because I can't be bothered walking to the shops. And I think that's a sad state of affairs when you've got to have alcohol delivered.
Well, it's okay. I'm sure the shops are a very long way away. And it was cold yesterday as well.
It's cold, so that's why I'm in a long sleeve shirt. The shops are, but as you know, I'm too well known at Dan Murphy's over there.
Me too.
Bad. Hey, have you been to restaurants since they've reopened?
So yesterday I went to my favourite little cafe on Crown Street called Piano. It's right next to the winery. They had the 10-person rule, which was fine. I sat at they've got this great big giant table, and I always like sitting at it instead of the little ones. So I sat there, I had a cup of coffee out of a proper restaurant cafe mug for the first time in 2 months.
Spoiled. Yeah.
Which was, I don't know, luxury.
Don't you make coffee at home? Yes, I
no,
do.
But like a cafe coffee.
Yeah, all right.
Just put everything in paper. And then I ordered my same breakfast that I used to have 2 months ago. So it was just weird seeing all the staff again, being back in the same spot, but 2 months later and doing the exact same thing I always used to do. It was a weird feeling. It was strange.
Yeah, I've not been. I mean, look, I've not been out to eat. I've eaten so much in, like, it's just basically, do I need it on a plate or not? But as we were getting ready for the show, there was an announcement saying that from the 1st of June, January, May, June, yeah, that they're going straight to 50 people.
Oh!
In pubs and restaurants.
Do you have to keep a distance between all the tables, or?
Okay, so here's a question, right? Because you know that sometimes I like to get a bit Mrs. Mangly. And
me too.
Yeah. So last week was the first Friday of people, and this is a contradictory question. Okay, so the rule is up to 5 guests in your house, right? But if you go to a restaurant, it's a maximum of 10 people. So what I was seeing people doing was like 10 friends were getting together, then going to a restaurant. But on the way to the restaurant, there's pictures with their arms around each other and kissing. Then in the restaurant, there's no social distancing because it's booked as a group of 10, like a table of 10. Whereas I thought they would have to put a spare seat in between. And then you've got like people are grabbing jugs and people are grabbing like bread. I'm like, oh, I'm uncomfortable about this.
I know, it's... Even when I see on TV, you watch TV shows and people walk upstairs and they're holding onto banisters and things. It's like, oh, don't touch that.
But then something came out today saying that they now don't think that the virus is able to live on objects as long as they originally did. I'm like, this is fucking 5 months old. You know? Do you know what? Speaking of Mrs. Mangles, I didn't get to tell you last week because I think we did chat a lot. It was our most unorganized show. It was the gayest show ever. People fucking spitting on the street.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Okay, so I went to the podiatrist and I was coming home and I have quite a noticeable car because the number plate is Vangie, as in like Vangie. I was driving down Oxford Street and I saw this guy go, my window is down. I'll bleep out the, I went, hey, we're in a fucking pandemic, you an idiot, don't fucking spit! Don't spit! Like that, like I was wild.
What did he do? Did he jump out of his skin?
Like that. And then I was coming down Alexandria and outside McDonald's. The same person and another person did a big, so like, had the window closed. I'm like, don't fucking spit. So aggressive. It's terrible.
Oh, you're doing the Lord's work though, darling. You've got to tell them.
What are people? Spitters. But can you think of a time, Dan? I mean, I think that's an appropriate shouting out and saying the wrong thing. Have you put your foot in it recently? Have you upset people? Have you gone crazy?
I tend to talk without thinking or speak without thinking sometimes, especially after a wine or two. And I saw a friend of mine back when the Beresford used to be open. I was DJing and I hadn't seen him forever, and he looked so thin. And I was like, oh, hi, doll, you look great. Have you been sick? And laughed. And he's like, yes, I have. And then I laughed again. He goes, no, Dan, I have been sick. I've had cancer. And I was like, oh, how are you now? Are you good? You having a nice time?
Let's segue into a fun chat. I do it on the aircraft during boarding, and just for those people watching, like when you give, firstly, it pisses me off when people will not give the boarding pass to you at the boarding door, so that you're like, can I have it? Can I have it? Because for people not in the know, we're checking the date, we're checking the flight number, and we're checking the destination. That's actually a rule. It's mandatory. But I quite often, because I'm focusing on everything else, will call people like, if it's a man, I'll go, oh, Mrs. Brown, and then look. But one day this lady got on and I called her like, Miss Smith, and she goes, Doctor, goddammit, I'm a goddamn doctor. I didn't spend 6 years at medical school to be Miss. And I went, Mr. Doctor, if we need you later, we know where to find you. Down the aisle to economy. If you were that much of a good doctor, you'd be in business class, mole.
Oh, wow. I'd love to know what kind of doctor she was as well. One of those paper doctors.
We have had, I have had medical situations on board where you've done that. I always do it in shaky voice. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is a doctor, nurse, or paramedic on board, would you please make yourself... I do get shaky voice. Bing.
Oh, not on purpose?
No, I get nervous.
Oh, wow, okay.
Fucking like cardiac arrest. That's the worst one. We had a cardiac arrest on board and I was woken up from my sleep and I picked up the phone in the... I know. I picked up the phone in the bunk. They're like, stop breathing. I'm like, fuck. So I ran downstairs and I grabbed the microphone. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a doctor and nurse around many on board. So bad.
Was everyone
So
like, woo?
Yeah, it was a pretty full-on one. That was pretty full-on. But then also, I've had another case where like it wasn't so serious. So I've done a search on the iPad and just put in like search doctor, and then you go and you like tap them and you're like, hi there, it does say you're a doctor on the manifest. Are you a medical doctor? Like, no, I'm a doctor of butterfly. Nah, I'm a doctor. I mean, you're like, there's a woman that's got a doctorate in drag.
Oh, how do you get that?
Yeah. Well, I think you can just do a doctorate in whatever you want. She was friends with Rushka and Claire. She released that book, that Glittery Curtain book.
Oh, yes. I know of it. I haven't read it. Don't know how to read
No, I haven't either. You can't get it. But this leads to the big lie. Because a lot of people lie on the boarding pass and say doctor because they think they're going to get upgraded. What about those idiots who are trying to sell the Lord and Lady title because you got better treatment? What's your big lie, Dan? What's your big lie?
Well, I do have a big lie. I will just interrupt and say we've got Luke in our green room ready to go. Should we have a chat to Luke and then do our big lies after Luke?
Yeah, and ask Luke what his big lies. I've spent many a night out with Luke, and there's a lot of lies.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to your screens international heartthrob, Luke Jacobz. How are
hello,
you?
guys.
Do you know what, Luke? I'm going to leave you to talk to Dan, but I can think of one big lie. The first night we had out at the Potts Point Hotel when we were going round for round on drinks.
Sure.
And the big lie is that every time you went to the fucking bar, you put your drinks on my tab. And it wasn't until next week they're like, oh, you're over your tab by about $300. That Luke guy kept on putting drinks on your tab.
That wasn't a lie. You said go and get drinks, so I just went and got
Yeah,
them.
you were meant to pay for them.
No, you said go and get drinks. If you specified and said go and pay for drinks, then that would have been
All
right.
right,
You
fair.
said, can you go and get some drinks? So, yeah.
Fair.
So there you go.
All right.
There's my big lie.
I'll leave you two to chat. If you have any questions for Luke, pop them in the comments and I'll be on with your film.
All right, we'll
Thank
chat
you
to you
very
soon. Thank you, Penny. Oh,
Thanks, Penny.
Luke, how are you going?
Very entertaining. I'm really good. I'm really, really good. That was very entertaining, and there's so many points that you were talking about then, and I was like, yeah, I understand that touching the rails and then they're saying things and then immediately saying that they didn't say it, and yeah, so that was wonderful. That was very entertaining. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. $20 in the mail for you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Speaking of being entertaining, am I right to believe you're going back to Home and Away?
I am. Yes, we're back on set on Monday actually. So we've
Oh, wow.
we got told we stopped filming at the end of the second week of March. So we've been we've complete hiatus since then. So it's actually very, very exciting. But we've been given so much information about the protocols of work and stuff like that. You know, we now have to do our own microphones. If there's any touch-ups on sets, we've got to do our own touch-ups and stuff like that. So they're really limiting any contact, and they've basically cut out all physical contacts on set. So if there's any kissing, you have to sort of lean in as if you're going to, and then they'll cut. So now,
really?
Yeah. So now that we insinuate that we're
so
kissing.
weird.
I know. So it's like, so I'm thinking though, if I don't have any kissing scenes coming up, but if it was me doing one, do I go, like, do you start to like pucker up so that it gives
Captain Kim style.
Yeah. So that, you know, so people think that you're going to kiss. So, but yeah, do you know what? It's really exciting because we've been doing nothing, and I'm really happy to get back to work, as I'm sure a lot of people are. But yeah, very much so. But I've been pretty bored.
Yeah. So where are you at the moment? You're living in Sydney?
I'm in Sydney, yeah. So I live in Bondi, and when this first all came out, my sister lives out in the hills area, and she said to me, "You're not staying in Bondi. You're not living in Bondi." So I moved out.
It was a hot zone.
It was a hot zone, yeah. So I moved out of here, basically, you know, as this all happened, and I spent 7 or 8 weeks out there. So I got back to Bondi this week, which is it's really nice to be back, but it's a ghost town. It feels really different because I was here, you know, in summer when there was no pandemic, so there was people everywhere, and then, you know, you go out now and there's just no one. Well, there are still people around, but just, you know, at 5% of what it used to be.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? And it's almost like Christmas. I'm in Surrey Hills. It's almost like Christmas here because there are car parking spaces everywhere and nobody on the streets.
It's amazing. It's crazy too because you go in places and you go, oh, there's one car there, and you think, are they illegally parked, or is it there's no one else parking? You know what I mean? Because there's just so many car spots. So yeah. It's such a strange feeling, you know. But hopefully everyone follows the rules long enough that we can, like, you know, find an end to this, you know, kind of thing, or just change our way of living. I think that, you know, we're going to have to social distance for a long time. But I'm seeing, like you were saying before, you got people that are at restaurants sitting next to each other. That's not social distancing. You know what I mean? So like it only takes one person to have it, and then it can just spread out again. So I think people really need to get into that mindset. So I think it's crazy how everyone's hugging each other already.
I know.
I don't understand that.
It'll be, now that the restrictions have relaxed a little bit, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week or two with cases. Yeah. So,
absolutely. And I think that what it is though is it's they're relaxing them a little bit, but people go, oh, fine. They go and have a few wines, and I'm like, when I've had a few wines, I've got my arm around everyone. You know what I mean? I talk to everyone, so that's why I'm staying home, because I don't trust myself going out and, you know, not hugging people. So it'll be very, very interesting. I mean, how was it having a coffee at a proper restaurant? Was that nice?
Oh, it was so nice, and it was weird because it's been a break of 2 months, but it was just like everything was back to normal all of a sudden.
Yes,
it was really strange.
Yeah. It's almost like someone's gone, we're fine now. But that's not what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like, we'll loosen it a little bit so people can have a little bit of a life. But in Bondi, like the cafes and stuff, they're filled. You know what I mean? Like there's all the tables and stuff outside. People are having breakfast and talking, and, you know, so everyone's kind of, you know, forgetting the social distancing, especially in Bondi. But everyone's known that from the beginning.
Yeah, Bondi's been in trouble. Now, tell me, where's your fiance? Is she overseas in Hollywood?
She's in LA, yes, and we were supposed to get married in November this year. We've had to postpone that, and at this stage, I've been talking to some immigration lawyers and stuff like that recently, and we might not be able to see each other till next year, and it could possibly be 2022. So going from, like, when I left in January, we were planning a wedding. Everything was amazing. She was coming over for Easter for 2 weeks. You know, it was all good. And now I might not see her for a year at least. So that's pretty shit. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So even if, say, the borders opened up again, would she be allowed to fly over and do the 2-week quarantine in a hotel or something and then see you?
No.
Or?
So what the Homelands and the border securities now, they are not processing any visas, whether it be holiday visa or anything. I found out today as well that it's roughly, if you've applied for one, before the pandemic, it could take up to 17 months. And that's if you applied before. So if you're applying for it now, you know, so it's kind of like one of those situations where it's like, it's funny, but it's really not fucking funny. Like, so we do dinner dates, and, you know, like, I'll have a late lunch and she'll have a later dinner, and we'll put a movie on so we can sort of have date night kind of thing. So we have to do something, you know what I mean? So, but yes, she's over there. I can't get over there. They won't let me in that country. And Australia's not letting anyone from America over. So if they do relax any borders, it might be that we have to go to a country that's allowing it. You know what I mean? She might have to fly to Japan. I might have to go to Japan. You know what I mean? So because our borders and their borders aren't working together at the moment. So yeah, lots of long distance phone calls at the moment. But, you know, wine fixes everything.
It sure does. Well, on that note, let's bring Penny back and see if we've got some questions from our beautiful viewers. Hi, Penny. Welcome back.
Hi. I thought it was very casual, isn't it? We have actually something on top of America has now said it's not issuing passports anymore as well, unless it's like so they're not even issuing a passport. So if for airline crew, like, if your passport's expiring, it's life or death situations is the only reason that they will issue a passport.
Yeah. Well, they said also as well, like, the Australian immigration are denying visas. They even denied a man coming into the country for his father's funeral because it wasn't significant enough. It's like, that's not significant enough? Like, I think we're going to be dealing with this for quite a while now.
Well, yeah. I mean, they keep on pushing. They're saying sometimes until the vaccine is available, that's when they'll allow travel
Yes.
overseas. But travel to America is going to be a really, really long time. But would you want to like? Well, it's hard when you have your fiance there. But, I mean, would you, if you? Well, I guess you would because you're part. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in America even if I was allowed to travel there at the moment.
No, I want her here. Yeah,
Yeah.
The plan was for her to be moving here, and we were going to get married over there. That was, and majority of my bridal party had bought their tickets already. They bought the accommodation. They bought, because we were doing Disneyland the day after the wedding. We were doing Universal and Six Flags the days beforehand. So everything was booked and paid for. And so,
I won't fit into the dress anymore though. I was a bridesmaid.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah,
don't fit
no,
into-
exactly right. That's okay.
My mum actually,
everyone's getting alterations.
yeah, totally, just elastic in the back. My mum asked a question. She asked, "Did you enjoy homeschooling your sister's kids?" Which apparently you did, so she could go to
did.
school. She could go to work.
She can go to work. Yeah. So, so my sister was my nephew's mum.
Yeah.
So it's my biological brother, his son's mum, but they've split up now. Anyway, long story.
Right.
That's for another 4 hours.
Yeah, it's another show.
So she's a school teacher. So she was during this. The school teachers were still going to school. They had split shifts. So she was going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then the following week she'd be there Tuesday and Thursday. So when she was at work, I then had to have the kid. Like I was looking after the kids. So there was a bit of it was a bit of a balance because I enjoyed doing it, but I mean I'm not a father, right? And then I went from having no children to having 4 of them, and then trying to school them, which they didn't listen to a thing I said. I was like, okay, we're doing home ec now. We're making pancakes. And they were straight there and they loved it. But it's
You did a lot of TikToks though, didn't you? You got into the TikTok phase. Yeah.
I got into a TikTok phase because in the family there's twin girls and they're 9. And then there's a 13-year-old boy and a 15-year-old boy. So the twin girls were Uncle Luke, TikTok, Uncle Luke, TikTok, Uncle Luke. So it just drove me up the wall. So I was like, okay, if you shut up, if I do a few of them,
You were such a good teacher.
So, yeah. No, I didn't say that to them. I was like, sure, girls. Okay, look, 1 or 2, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, seriously, no more of this stuff anymore, So I did a few of them, and they were fun. There were 2 or 3 that I did that I don't quite remember doing.
Boozy TikTok. That's the best time for them.
Yeah, it was a boozy TikTok. We were watching like The Blacklist, and we're having a few drinks, and it was like, okay, cool, no worries. And then we watched a few more episodes, and then I had a TikTok the next morning. I was like, yeah.
I even opened up a. Yeah, share it. Share it.
It's so bad. No, they're really. It was me trying to do something, and I was not mouthing it at all. Like I didn't know the words at all. So thankfully, it didn't go. I found one. I was like, wow. So I didn't press send, which was good.
Have you seen Anthony Kalia and it's terrible
Tim Campbell?
Yeah, that's hours worth of rehearsals.
Oh, it's absolutely. I think they did full quarantine though. Like I think they basically locked themselves in the house and they were like, no, we're going to follow the rules. And they must have had Jimmy Brings, and I know you've had Jimmy Brings more than once.
Once for free, and then once. It's 10 minutes across the park. I told you, I get pulled to the front of the line at Dan Murphy's by my lesbian friends. But, oh no, don't come to the front. Come to the front.
You know what? That's loyal customer service there, isn't it? That's like, oh, you're here again.
She hides. She told me about this cheap wine that it's $11. It's not that cheap, but this really nice Spanish rosé, which I should have shares in. But she now puts 6 bottles in a box under the shelf for me because when I walk, she goes, I put them aside because it sells out.
And she knows that you're going to come back. She knows that you're going to.
And I've been over in drag now. So I went over there in between gigs and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, can you put my PIN number in? I can't do it with nails. So we're like that.
Do you know what? She'll know your PIN now, so that when you walk in, she's already got your details. So it's just like, beep, boop, pay pass, here's your PIN, gone.
I reckon we're that friendly enough. I could just say to her, doll, do me a favour, 6 bottles and 2 bottles of gin, can you drop it over? And she'd like drop it over in a lunch hour.
She probably would, absolutely. Yeah, I think so too. See, I've sort of gone in the opposite state because I'm trying to. I don't want to go back to the bay and then say, all right, Luke, take your shirt off, and me go 10 weeks quarantine.
Yeah, okay.
No, so what I do, I still go to the bottle shop, but I buy one at a time. So when I come back, I then have to walk down to get another one. So that justifies.
Where's your closest bottle shop? How far are we talking? 5 minutes. You're in Bondi. You know what? I had a friend that worked on the show when Dita Brummer was on, and his abs were all drawn on. So you're fine, darling. Just hopefully that same makeup artist is there.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's been some people that have been there for a very, very, very long time. And I think, like some of them I think that they should just be able to just get paid forever and not even go. They've done their time, you know what I mean? They've been there 30 years. It's like long service leave. Just come and pick up your check and you'll be fine. So, but yeah, I have heard of the abs being drawn on multiple shows. I think he was the king of the that was back in, when was your first, what year were you first on Homo? I would call it Homeless in a way, because we used to have a guy that worked at the club who lied and said he was on Home and Away, but he was also homeless. Homeless. We call it homos and gays. That's yeah. I've called it homos and gays for decades. It's just always been it. Well, funny story is I've been 4 characters on the show. So the very first time I was on it, I was about 15, so 25 years ago. And then a couple of years later, I was another guestie. And then a few years after that, I was another guestie. All different roles, completely different characters. And then I went on there in 2008 as Angelo for the first time, full time. That was for 3 years. And then I'm back now. So had a 10-year hiatus.
Have they done a composite of all 4 of your different characters?
No, they haven't. They should do. Because I tell you what, when I was on the second or third time, the third time I was on it was when I was with Kim Cooper, and that's when my character came in and broke up Gypsy and Will, and I copped so much stuff on the streets. But yeah, I don't know why, but I had hair down to here, like I had like long hair. Yeah,
wow.
So
it was your own, wasn't a wig.
No, it was mine. It was mine. This was the 90s, I was in the 90s living out west trying to be a surfie, so I grew my hair.
I would have been at parties with you back then. Anyway, listen, we could talk all day. Firstly, the last party we were at, I had to leave.
The next one.
I had to leave because I thought it was appropriate to grab someone's boob because I was gay. That's, I think, the last time we were at a party together. Whoops, that was a fun day. That involved Kim Cooper too. But now you're in Bondi, I'm coming to hunt you down.
Lots of my stories in the States involve Kim Cooper, and it's usually starting at the Den or starting at her place. We have beer day where we start at midday and we buy a 30-pack of beer, and then by 5 o'clock we've got to go and buy another 30-pack. So because Kim Cooper and I just drink Coors. That's just what we do. But anyway,
and of course, Kim Cooper was the first ever guest on our show.
Yes, he was. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was many moons ago.
Yeah,
many shows ago.
Yeah. Oh God, about 8 weeks ago now. When did we start this?
8 weeks ago.
March? Oh,
yeah.
Well,
8
well
weeks.
done.
Right, well, now you're back in Bondi. I'm hunting you down, but thank you for being a guest on today's show.
Thank you very much for listening.
And no hugging me when we're out, okay?
No hugging at all. No, that should be a rule for us just normally, even without a pandemic. There's always so much hugging. There's always so much hugging.
Excuse me? That is not a rule.
No, I accept. We'll just have to limit it. But it was lovely speaking to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Luke. We love you.
We're going to hunt your TikToks down. See you. Catch up with you soon in Bondi.
I might send the drunk one to you. All right, I'll see you soon.
You do.
Thanks,
I won't share it.
Lie.
Isn't he fun?
Oh, the best. I love him.
He's really fun.
Straight to Bondi after this.
You're straight to...
I'm straight to Bondi after this.
Oh yeah, get on that car. He is really, really good fun. But the last time we had a big day out, we went to Hamburger Mary's, and it was an all-inclusive. But I mean, America does great bottomless, so it was bottomless mimosas, and in there they just put 2 jugs on our table, and they were like, "Just stop asking." And Luke was practicing voguing, which was great because his knees are much better than mine, so he could get lower. And then on the way back, we went via CVS, and I had flown in that morning. I didn't sleep, which we all know is a no-no. And we were by the pool. I reckon I had offended. I think I had like 6 arguments. 6 arguments. Not with Luke. And then eventually we were sitting talking, and I just went, ha, and grabbed, just like I did, like I was calling it a boob swoop, and it was just as Me Too had come out. And
Oh no!
it was like World War III. And Luke was like, I'm stepping back from this. And I left crying. With my suitcase and got an Uber back. Yeah, I'm like, that's it, I'm going. I thought it was like 10 o'clock at night. I got an Uber back to where our crew was staying, which was like a 45-minute drive. I slept the whole way. I had no shoes on. And when I got out, there was a crew leaving. It was like 6 in the afternoon. I walked into the foyer, like it was full of other crew, and I'm like, I feel terrible. And they're like, what time are you flying out? I'm like, flying out tonight. And they're like, I thought it was the next day.
So you had the whole night to recover.
Yeah, the whole night to just be hungover as a goddamn dog. And then again, we officially made the rule we do not go out straight from landing. Which was in fact a big lie. It was a big lie. So Dan, you didn't get to tell me what your big lie was.
Well, I guess it's not so much a big lie. It was a bit of a misunderstanding. When I first moved, I used to live in London for a couple of years, and I worked at Heaven nightclub, big gay nightclub over there. I worked in the t-shirt shop, so I was selling chopper chops, glow sticks, shirts, CDs, gum. So just sitting there drinking and smoking, because you could smoke inside back then, and just
were you taking cigarettes out of people's jackets? Oh no, you weren't. Sorry, you weren't in the coach room. Okay, go. Yeah.
No, and everybody else in the bar had to work really hard. So everyone behind the bar was slammed the whole time. The coat room was always a mess. And us in the shop, we'd just be sitting there gossiping and drinking and smoking and having a great time. But anyway, so I moved to Sydney, wanted to be a DJ, contacted every club, contacted ARC and said, told them I'd been over at Heaven. I got a trial gig at ARC. And it was okay. It went okay. And then I think I had a second trial gig maybe, and that was okay. And then I started talking to the owner, not Shad, but a different owner that's not there anymore. And I can remember it as clear as day. We're walking through Taylor Square, and he's talking about what sort of music I used to play at Heaven. And I was like, oh, pretty much the same kind of music I play here. He'd assumed that I was a DJ at Heaven, not selling fucking lollipops.
So you didn't actually tell them in the beginning. You just said, I've been working at Heaven.
Yeah. I didn't realise, because I had been working at Heaven, not as a DJ. And so,
do you know what?
I've never corrected him.
Well, you have now. They can't take those chips off of you. Do you know, actually, speaking about, like, I know this is going to sound awful, but I have found I think that might be why I've been real heavy on the booze this week, is I suddenly settled down. I'm like, listen, it's honest. You are probably not going to be flying, definitely for the rest of the year. So I started doing resumes, and when I started working for the airline, I'm like, I'll never have to do one of these again. So I started doing resumes, but I got really fucking cynical doing them, like really cynical. But resumes are a great place to exaggerate. But there's a section that was like awards, so I put like one award, and I'm like, fuck this. Divas 2015 Bitch of the Year. I'm like, that's an award you should know about. And I was like, Diva Variety Award, put it. And then I just got bored, so I just started applying for jobs online. And I applied for a job at Aussie Bar in customer service. And it was like, cover letter. I'm like, fuck that. I'm too good for a cover letter. So I just submitted. I never got a call back about that. And then I found out there's this gay, people out there who've been in the job game before might be able to pull me up on this, but there's this gay, I hate cover letters, but there's this gay app now where you just go up and you open and you put the name of the job in, your name, and then it brings down a list of like 50 of the key requirements to the job. So you just push that, and then you go and you choose like three of your key skills, and then you just push a button and it just writes a letter. I'm like, fucking send it off. Send it off.
Have you had any callbacks yet?
I progressed to the second round of a job.
Oh,
she obviously
amazing.
She probably hasn't read the resume. Or they also look at that cover letter. And in recruitment, through an agency, I'm sure they go, that's a generated one. That's a generated one.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, is it good? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people out there like, no, your cover letter needs to be personalised. But when I read this, I'm like, that's totally personalised. Even though I did just push 3 buttons, it's personalised.
I love
And I
that.
even made the colours match the colours on my resume.
Oh, fantastic. So it's on brand.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm totally on brand. Speaking of being on brand, have we got our on brand Friday guest there?
We have both Perry and Chelsea in the green room, ready to chat.
I can't believe Chelsea dialed in. I thought that was going
I know.
to be a misdemeanor. All right. Well, shall I leave you while you chat? Should we chat to Chelsea first because she'll be quick?
Why don't you have a chat to Chels, and then
right.
I'll get Perry lined up, and then I'll see you very shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to your screens the one and only Oxford Street legend, Chelsea Bunn.
Hi, Chelsea Bunn. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
You're really good. What a
I'll see you
backdrop
later.
you've got there. Talk to you soon. Dan will go and get some questions.
You like my backdrop?
Chelsea, yeah, it is very glamorous. It beats my coffee machine and my knife set. Have you had your hair done? Have you had a haircut since I last saw you?
Yeah, I've decided to go grey and act my age.
Don't act your age. Now, Chelsea, we were both in isolation around the same time, weren't we? Because you'd come back from Bali, I'd come back from Mexico. How did you cope in those 2 weeks just stuck in your house?
Oh, well, I wasn't stuck in my house. I went out and, exploited the streets. And no, I was actually stuck in my house. But I was traveling with 5 other people at the time in Bali, and they had all came back pretty much at the same time. And they all had COVID tests done here in Sydney. So on the second day, I took myself off to the RPA and had my test done, which came back negative, which was great. So that sort of eased my mind for the 14 days. Does that make sense? Not that I had much symptom, but
yeah,
I just wanted to be sure.
It's quite an invasive test, isn't it? It's like 2 really good ones up your nose.
It's one whack up one nostril, and it's not pretty when it pops out your eyeball.
And then, of course, a very long one down your throat. I always take great pride in making sure that I don't have gag reflex when they do a throat swab. All right, but the most important thing is you have reopened the shop. So you closed quite early for the safety of your staff and your customers. You're probably one of the first stores.
We decided to close on the 17th of March. That was when I got back, pretty much.
Yep.
We decided it was for the safety of my customers, myself, my staff, that, we were all unaware of what this virus was really like and how hard-hitting it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so for the safety, we decided to close earlier. We didn't have to close at all. We could have stayed open the whole time. Some of the shops on the street, like the retail shop downstairs, they opened the whole time. But our safety came first for us.
And you also do have an online business as well. Were you busy online, or you just found everything really wound back?
Look, everything wound back a bit, especially for the first week or 10 days where people were like, didn't know what was going on, it was all new to them. So, but, we've been quite consistent with our online orders, up obviously a lot larger than normal. So it's been quite okay. It's not fabulous, but it's okay. We've embraced it, and it is what it is.
And now you've reopened. So you reopened Monday? No, you reopened Friday last week, yeah?
We opened last Monday 2 weeks ago.
Last Monday. But then so now we're in I can't believe it's got 21 years of House of Priscilla. So this is your 21-year sale. So you've got 21% off of everything in the store.
That's right.
And
off everything.
And you've also got a giveaway. Can you tell us a little bit about that giveaway, Charles?
So we have a giveaway. So if anyone tags a friend or shares our post, we do take note of it. And obviously, some selected people will be taken home. Well, will be eligible for a prize pack, which is a merchandise pack. And so we put some merchandise into a pack together that we think may be suitable for the person that we choose.
Oh, perfect. Well, I hope I'm one of those people. I've been sharing your posts. And I popped in last week. Thank you. I finally was able to get eyebrow waxing. I've been doing so much drag, Chelsea, so much cutting edge drag live on screen. So thank you. Oh, totally. I'll never have to leave the home again. Well, Chelsea, I'm going to duck in and see you over the weekend, but thank you so much for popping in. How are the rest of the stores? I know you've got quite a tight-knit bond there with Colin, Bellocchio's and Claire. How is everyone else doing?
I'm sorry?
I said, I know you've got quite a tight-knit bond there with Bellocchio's, Colin and Claire. How are the other stores doing on Oxford Street?
I think, they're all hitting, finding it hard, but, we're all in it together. So we all help each other where we can. We share what we can with each other's pages and, try and help each other, support each other and, talk to each other and, and get through this pandemic.
And you give them makeup and wigs to make them look beautiful.
Well, we can put on our wigs and makeup on at night.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Chelsea. Check out House of Priscilla. Go in and visit them on Oxford Street or check them out online. And don't forget the 21st birthday sale. When's the sale on till Sunday?
The sale's on till Sunday, so don't forget they can still tag their friends. They can share the post, the sale post. We'll put it up again today, and then they could be. We're going to give away 7 more packs today, and then 7 more packs on Sunday.
Wow, this is crazy. Ooh. Dan, you better start sharing. You loved Fanny Dixon Cox does love to get a little bit dressed up every now and
again.
Yes,
Dan.
She hasn't been dressed up for a while. Maybe a little isolation drag wouldn't go astray. We love you, Chelsea. Thank you so much for dropping in. We'll look for your sale online until Sunday.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me. And
there you go. And you didn't have to follow Perry. You didn't have to follow Perry. You were Perry's warm-up act.
Perry.
You were Perry's warm-up act.
Okay,
we will. Thanks, Chelsea. See you soon.
Yeah, bye, Chelsea.
Bye.
Oh, that's great. 21% off until Sunday. That sounds like I'm getting a cut, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to work on a commission basis. I'll leave you to chat with Perry. I've got a few notes I've got to note down about this week's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we'll come back to chat in a moment, I'm sure. But I'll take your questions for Perry.
All right. Thank you, Penny. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the Emmy Award-winning designer to the stars, the one and only, live and direct from Hollywood, Perry Meek. How are you, darling?
Hi, darling. Good. Well, I'm traumatized because she was just on waving that fucking pencil around like bibbidi bobbidi boo and talking about cancelled passports or people not being able to get passports. And the light bulb went off in my head and I'm like, I wonder when my passport expires. And I went and checked and my Australian passport's expired. It expired 2 months ago.
Oh, no.
So I don't.
Are you an American citizen as well?
Well, yeah, I'm dual. So I mean, what if civil war breaks out and I have to flee the country? I can't get back into it. So I'm like, because I'm sure the consulate and that's closed now to renew it.
Well, but yeah, Luke Jacobz, who was on before, said there's a 17-month wait for visa applications. So I assume it's the same or similar with the passport application.
No, they'd have to have something they'd have to have something quicker for passports because people need to. Well, I mean, not that they can travel, but I'll have to look into it tomorrow. But I think I'm going to need a Xanax and a Valium to get through the night now because I panic about that.
Any excuse is a great excuse for a Xanax and a Valium.
Yeah, it's not like I need an excuse, Hey, speaking of, I just also that opening video today, you had Alison Moyet on. Whatever happened to her? Do you remember that dreadful video where she was walking through the desert and they kept focusing on her feet and her feet were like Barney Rubble and she's just this big lumbering thing walking through a desert, looking at someone. What was the name of that video? Something about a meat injection. One that she wanted she was looking for a hot meat injection. What was it called? Love injection, wasn't it?
Love injection.
No, what was it called? Love intervention.
Love intervention. Oh God! Look, I'm not familiar with Alison Moyet's back catalogue. Maybe our audience will know. They always seem to know everything.
But I thought, nobody's ever heard of her. Where is she? Did she pull in Adele and lose all that weight and nobody sees her again?
Nope, absolutely not. I saw her in Chicago in London a few years ago, or quite a few years ago now, and she definitely has not pulled an Adele. She's the same size she always was. She played Mama. Mama, what's her name? Oh my God.
Mama Morton.
Mama Morton. Yes, yeah. Oh God.
But all I could think of was those big feet. Oh my God, they were haunting me. They were like big ham hocks. Dreadful. I don't know who shot that. Who thought that would be a good idea for a video? See someone's dirty feet. You know.
Oh. Well, speaking of ideas for a video, have you heard? Obviously they're making the Tiger King movie. Yeah. Have you heard who they're planning to cast as the Tiger King and Carol Baskin?
Carol Baskin, well, the drunk Tara Reid, honey. I mean, she won't even be able to get 2 lines out. You know, the poor thing. I mean, good Lord, she mumbles like she's got a mouthful of marbles at the best of times. How's she going to remember lines?
Well, Carol Baskin's pretty spaced out all the time, so she'll just have to sit there like that. Oh, maybe they'll feed the lines to her.
You know, it won't be much of a stretch. Who were they thinking of the Tiger King? Though?
I'll give you 2 guesses. Who do you think would? Yes. Well, that was fast. Nicolas Cage as the Tiger King. Number one, he's way too old.
You know, I think I must be the only gay in the village that hasn't seen this tiger prawn thing. I haven't seen it.
It's fascinating, but it kind of over the course of 7 episodes, I think it kind of loses steam. You get to the end and it's just watching too many people on meth. Honey, you just go to Florida for that. Hey, are you excited for the Drag Race finale on live stream? Yeah, tentatively. Well, you know, honey, listen, I'm getting my popcorn. This is a train wreck waiting to happen, honey, bigger than the Granville disaster. I mean, can you imagine, like, however, what is it, 14 streams cutting in and out? I mean, we have a problem with 3, you know. It looks like fucking, you know. So can you imagine 14 of them? And the thing is, and, you know, and she's not going to have that filter, you know. Ooh. And she's probably going to have to do her own makeup as well, right? Well, I'm sure she won't. You know, I'm sure there'll be people off camera. But, you know, but here's the thing. I don't understand why they couldn't do it. You know, there's enough space in the studio where they could have done it where, you know, it was just the 4 of them or the 3 of them and her and, you know, the cameraman or whatever, you know. Yeah. But, it's going to be very interesting, you know. It will be interesting. I watched that Smash concert yesterday. I don't know if you saw it on YouTube, but in the intermission they had 20 of the cast or 16 of the cast on this multiple Zoom meeting. They'd ask a question, then everyone would answer at once. It was really exactly. I mean, imagine, and because the reunion this week, you know, then they're all going to be bitching and complaining at the same time. So, you know, it's going to be, it'll be a real treat. I'm here for it all. You know. I can't wait to see what they do. I'm actually, I've been really obsessed with this season. It's such a strange season with the crazy editing. I think it's one of the worst. Oh, really? Just because of the editing or because of the talent? Both. I mean, you know, they're falling all over themselves for Gigi Good, and I just don't get it. You know, I'm not seeing that. I mean, the only thing is fashion. And might I say, last week, that nipple was waving around like a fucking flag at a gay pride parade, honey, and they didn't mention it. In that red Which dress did she? Oh, in the red thing.
That red corset.
Oh, I missed the nipple.
Oh, no, you could, honey, how could you miss the nipple? It was so ill-fitting. That's one of my annoyances when queens do corsets and they don't get it to fit up here. You know who always used to do it with is Plastic Tiara. Every single corset she had, you know, the corset would stay and the chest would turn like this, so you'd always see a boy nipple. But when they did it with Plastic Tiara, they blurred out her nipples on the show. If you go back and look, for some reason they blurred it out. But Gigi Good, honey, that thing, they were 2 headlights tuning in Radio Free Europe. I was like, and they didn't say a word about it. You were fabulous, you were great. And I'm like, okay, are we watching the same thing?
It's
I
weird,
love
isn't
Jada.
it?
I really love Jada.
Me too. I hope Jada wins,
Polished.
actually.
I hope Jada wins because she's polished. I mean, she's, gorgeous makeup, gorgeous gowns. But yeah, it's the whole thing's sort of been like, I can't even remember who were the first 5 to get kicked off. Can't even remember them.
I just remember the broccoli one. Jada. Oh yeah, the French one. I quite liked the French one, Nikki.
Well, she was pretty, but honey, if she did, I don't speak English. Go get hooked on phonics, or buy Babbel or Duolingo. Stop using that as an excuse, honey. I'm funnier in French. Well, we've all got an accent. But she had a beautiful face.
She really did. Speaking of funnier in French, should we bring Penny back and have a little chat about Real Housewives?
Oh yeah, I've got some good ones, honey.
Okay, here we go. Penny, are you there? Penny, are you there?
I was waving my wand around. Sorry, it's only America that's not issuing passports, Perry. You can get an Australian passport, but America has stopped issuing passports.
Oh, but even still, it takes sort of like a couple of weeks.
Well, it's going to take a couple of months.
Well, what if there's a storming of that? What if there's a storming of West Hollywood by the MAGA hats and I have to flee? I have to grab my bag and my Emmy and come back to Australia.
Well, just wave that Emmy. You'll get through. Hey, you want to know?
Because I can't. It's like a weapon.
Oh, actually, it's got the two on the top, hasn't it?
This is an absolute true story. So at the the HBO after party, I had it with me and I was taking it around, carrying it around because I couldn't leave it anywhere. And somebody hugged me and said, "Oh my God, congratulations!" And I went like this, and I stabbed myself with the wing, and I was like, "Ow!" And then so I was talking to them, and somebody reaches over to me and goes, and there was blood running down my thing, it pierced my skin. I thought, oh, who cares?
Have you taken it on? I wonder if they stop you from taking it on. I wonder if they stop you from taking it on an aircraft, because it is actually good. Like you could knife your way to the cockpit with those wings.
You have to put it in special. They give you a special box.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, you can do it.
It also comes in handy as a can. Comes in handy as a can opener as well. If you run out.
Hey, so let's move on to the housewives.
Yeah. Have you seen the Housewives of Atlanta reunion with your favorite Andy Cohen when it's all dialed in? Have you not seen this?
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna tell you about. So first of all, so there's how many is there? 6 housewives? 6? Yeah, 6 housewives. And they were having difficulties doing it in live. So imagine 14 queens, all like that. So what really pissed me off, and again, it cements my thing of what an asshole he is. Did you see how he was poking and poking and poking poor Eva?
Oh yeah, he did, and then she left, didn't she?
About the father. And then she had a breakdown. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, well, just tell us one more update. And it's like, fuck you. That's what pisses me off about him. He will stir the pot and push and push and push. And it's like, there's a line somewhere, guys.
Yeah.
You got to have a line.
I don't watch Atlanta. But I did watch the reunion. My favorite was just when they just kept on muting Nene, and she's like, but she didn't know she was muted. Yeah, totally.
And then it's like, oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and then she shut her laptop and it just had a close up of like the she's a dick. As much as they did push, what did you say her name was, Eva? As much as they did push her, she's got this dress and her breasts are so far apart. All of them. And then one of the other bitches goes, your tits are socially distancing.
I mean, all of them have got their titties out.
I know. And one of them has the most amazing mesh holding it together. It took me like two watches. I like to watch everything 2 or 3 times. Somebody did post, the song you're talking about is Resurrection. And someone's actually posted a link to the video. Never heard of it. But didn't Alison Moyer, didn't she also she did Whispering Your Name with the girls from Ab Fab in the video clip. Is someone thinking about the same person?
Yes. She did Whispering Your Name, but I think she had shoes on in Whispering Your Name. She didn't have those ugly feet out, looking like that.
Maybe she had a fallen arch. A fallen arch.
Fallen.
A fallen arch. And you know, I joined up Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue on Facebook, and you can tune in live. And the other day, she's released Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue masks, and you can buy a mask that says, "Hello, you cool cats and kittens." Crazy.
Oh my!
She is making the most of that.
We saw how well that worked out for Roy, didn't we? Siegfried and Roy.
Well, yes. Perry, I'm going to have to let you lead the chat on this week's Drag Race, because not Drag Race, on this week's Real Housewives, because I've watched it 3 times, but it was yesterday afternoon. I fell asleep through it 3 times. So you'll have to lead it.
Well, you know, again, our friend Sutton, honey, was, you know, crying up a storm and carrying. I mean, she's the get a rise queen. You know, she'll just say anything to get a rise. And poor Kyle, honey, Kyle's off the rails. I don't know if she's like having a hormone imbalance or what, but she just keeps having these breakdowns and nobody can get to the bottom of it.
I loved when she came out in that skirt and said, "Is it too short?" Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, honey, I've seen better legs in a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. That is awful. Well, and Maurizio's just stoned. He's like, "Yeah, looks fine. Yeah, looks great, honey." I mean, he's just stoned every episode now.
It's at least when Erica did her run through this time, because remember that first week we were a little bit nervous about her breathy,
her vocal prowess.
Yeah, but she was good this week.
I would have liked to have seen her in Chicago. I think she would have been good. I mean, I'm sure you could probably see it up. Probably some sneaky queens put it up on YouTube.
Do you know what? I did a search because when I heard that she did it, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I hope that COVID didn't stop it. It didn't. She did the full run, but there is not a skerrick of footage. I've searched everywhere. There's not a skerrick of footage on the internet of it.
Oh, wow.
That's weird.
Our viewers are pretty intrepid. Maybe they can track down a link for us. They've tracked down
I'd love to have seen it.
Honey, they can find Dick at 20 paces. So I'm sure some queen can get a video of Erica James singing all that jazz.
Well, I'd like the video interviews and the promo for it there, but there's nothing live. But yeah, what's going on with Denise?
Well, you know, they're ramping up the whole lesbian affair. You know, they're getting ready for that, for the big unleashing, you know, of the tortilla making, you know.
The scissor fest. The scissor fest.
The Velcro tango.
I just find it's again, and you know, I thought from the first episode we saw of this, it was going to be like a roller coaster week every week, and we've had one good episode, and what is this? This is the 6th episode, and it's shit.
And then they're going like, oh, let's go on a pretend trip to, you know, Botswana or wherever they're going next week. Where are they going next week?
No, let's go to Italy. Do you want to go to Italy?
Yeah, but the thing is, poor Garcelle, she's just like a wash, honey.
It's like she's got her own show. I love that she was out with a group of 10 people we don't even fucking know, and she's having this, and we're like, shut up. Who are you?
And they put their names up for all of them. They're like, oh, this is Garcelle's friend. Oh, this is Will Smith's ex-wife. This is blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's too many people. We don't need to get...
Kyle brushes over it. Yeah, because you're boring as batshit.
Oh, she said it once. She said it a million times. I'm in Coming to America too. I'm in Coming to America too. You were in it for a second in the first fucking one, doll. So what are you in it for 5 minutes this time?
Who was she in the first one?
That woman, she was meant to get married for Eddie Murphy, had to bark like a dog. It's a very small part. Yeah.
Oh.
Very small part. I think that's her.
Beautiful. What is it, velvet?
She's a nut. But anyway.
Like she was Grace Jones in Stranger or something.
No. So we'll have to see how they re-involve her. And apparently Vanderpump Rules has been cut.
Are you going to watch? Who are you rooting for in the Drag Race?
Look, no one really. No one. I wanted Cherry Pie to win, but then I watched the most intense hour-long expose. That bitch is twisted. Yeah, it's full on. I like Cherry Pie. To be honest, I don't actually know who the other 3 are in the finale. Great. I really like the kooky one, but she shouldn't win. What's her name?
Crystal.
Elder Barge.
And I can't.
Yeah.
27.
The which? Sorry.
Say that
Sorry, I
again.
lost you.
Oh, yeah, no, she doesn't. You know.
I think it's hard, and it's Drag Race overdose because then we're about to go straight back into. I mean, how shit was that fucking celebrity one last week?
Oh my God, it was dreadful. It was so boring.
Well, the whole premise of it, and the promo. Have you seen the promo for All Stars? It looked like it was filmed out the back alley of Mickey's.
It probably was.
It was really. Well, it probably was. It was really so cheap and poorly done, and it's like, God, listen, you've been doing this for 13. Well, you know, with all of them, 13 seasons or more, honey. Up that budget, you know. Get a bit of that fracking money and put it back into the production.
And then also the big expose. The expose that you will mime against. Did you see this expose? So the new RuPaul has all stars rules are relinquished, and the person who is the winner each week will have to mime against a lip sync assassin as chosen by RuPaul from other episodes. So they're bringing the people they deem as lip sync assassins back. And if the lip sync assassin beats you, the $5,000 tip gets bundled up until one of the contestants wins. It's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, but it's also like convoluted. It's like I can't follow. You know, I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow, let alone. You know, and then they scratch their left testicle and they wink 3 times. Then $2 gets put into the pot for, you know. I'm like, I can't keep up with all of this. Just fucking, you know.
But then also, doesn't the money get put into a pool that you never actually get? Isn't that what we don't talk about?
Well. Sure, some queens are still waiting for their year's supply of Anastasia makeup at Beverly Hills because some of them have been using crowns from the time. So,
doing a silky nutmeg texture eyebrow.
With Sharpie eyebrows. Isn't that actually? You know what? I saw her. Well, obviously before the lockdown, I saw her at a bar and she's lost a lot of weight. Like I almost thought, oh wow, she had like surgery or something. She looked good.
With respect, she could afford to. I mean, that bitch was big.
Well, you know, all of them. Honey.
Oh, I don't want to get in trouble for fat shaming Nancy Pelosi.
Oh no! I just can't. It's just listen. You don't understand though. It's like living in a twilight zone over here. It really is. It's like you can't. It's not real, and yet it is. Every day you wake up and it's something like new. And you've got to still wear face coverings, haven't you, if you leave the house in LA? Yeah. Yes, and we probably will for a while, you know. Yeah.
I want to talk out of school. Well, because you know I love to. Sorry, Perry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
Well, hasn't stopped you before.
I want to talk out of school, but I messaged...
You didn't talk out of school.
No, I don't want to talk out of school, but I will. I messaged a friend, and I hope he's not watching the show today, but I messaged a friend the other day just saying, how are you? And he's like, well, I'm not really good. My uncle passed away and my aunt is in the ICU. They went to an anti-lockdown rally in a state in America, and the uncle's dead and the aunt going to protest about locking down. Welcome to the real world, you fools. I feel sorry for him, but I'm like, your family is dead. That's not on the news. Have you frozen, Kerry?
oh no. Are you just in shock?
Yeah, so they caught COVID at a rally to say that we shouldn't be restricting and lockdown, and one of them's passed away and the other one is in ICU and not expected to survive. Great work, guys. Great work for exercising your civil liberties.
Well, you know, I mean, well, you hate to say it, but, you know, let me bake a sympathy cake.
And post it.
I mean, you know.
On that note, should we wrap it up, guys?
You hear me?
I think we do. I think we've got a bit of a delay. I think our satellite delay has kicked in for you.
All right, love.
Well, we'll check next week. I'll go watch Real Housewives again so I actually know what we're talking about.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we love you, Perry.
It's the Russian.
Apply for your passport. Apply for your passport now.
This is what it's going to be on the Drag Race finale.
Yes.
All right, kids.
Oh,
All right.
we
See
love
you.
you,
Thank you,
Mary.
Barry. See you next week.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh,
We did get a little bit of sound issues at the end there, didn't we?
I know, it went a little bit funny. It hasn't been a great technical day.
No, and I like, and
Had a
then we were
great
all like
time.
waiting. We were all waiting not to talk over each other, so no one was saying anything.
Everyone's like that.
That's how we're polite. We're polite. Dan, thank you. Another fun Friday day.
Oh, it really was. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 hours leading up to this broadcast were somewhat stressful, but the hour of the broadcast has brought it all back. It's been great.
What a fun. Dan, can you tell me before you go, you're doing something special tomorrow, which I would love to share with the audience.
Oh, thanks for asking. Yes, tomorrow afternoon, technical things going okay.
You'll be good.
I'll be broadcasting on my DJ Dan page the 2014 set from the RHI at Mardi Gras. So 3 hours of some classics and favorites, and yeah, it'll be a really, really fun thing to tune in for. What about you? What have you got up to? What are you getting up to this weekend?
I'm actually finishing Frightful Fridays and Shifted Back Saturdays in their current form. Tonight is the last night of Frightful Fridays. Tomorrow night is the last night of Shifted Back Saturdays. And I think moving forward, just now people are going out, I'm probably going to combine them into one night. It's going to take a new format. I'm going to have special guests. I'm going to bring in some beautiful go-go dancers. So that happens next week. So tonight, and also I get too drunk sometimes and it just ends up being one big blur and I walk up to go to the toilet and, you know, I'm going to invest some time in planning the show. But tonight is the last night of Frightful Friday. I'm looking forward this afternoon. Lisa Mann's on. Exciting stuff on today. I'll put the posts up. But yeah, I'm tuning in. I'll be tuning in to you tomorrow doing my makeup, listening to your music.
Oh, fabulous. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Penny, always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you so much for today.
We'll be on the phone in 10 minutes. We'll talk for another 2 hours. They just don't need to hear that.
I know. Bye, everybody. We absolutely love you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will.
I think I can still hear Mary Kiani on a balcony. I can! I can hear her still. It was Mary Kiani. You need a drink, darling. It'll get rid of that hangover. I'm going to the bottle shop.
KFC and a drink. Oh.